Kiryu Sento is an artificer who can adapt to any fight. He's the titular character from Toei's tokusatsu show, Kamen Rider Build. Using trinkets called full bottles, he has around 900 potential forms and a clear answer to any dangerous situation. And I want that. I want a subclass that has that level of freedom and flexibility. I want a character that can confidently face whatever I throw at them and say, I got this. And somehow, I want this to be balanced enough for DMs to accept them at their tables. This is a big one because it went through a lot of revisions and 2 major overhauls and, well, it was a journey. So let's see if I managed to make a satisfying subclass for any D&D player, even for those not familiar with the show. Because in this video, I'll give you the building blocks on how to create him using official rules. Then, I'll showcase the new Artificer subclass I designed by playtesting it using the Action Cam. And if you haven't seen the show yet, I'll give you a sample backstory for a setting-agnostic character inspired by Kiryu Sento. Hello and thank you for being here, and welcome to My Wife Is a VMC. I'm V and I've been running and DMing D&D Homebrew for 10 years. So we're nearing the end of the Kamen Rider Build series of videos. If you're new here and you don't know what I'm talking about, I've been making subclasses based on the major characters from that series. But even if you're not familiar with the series, I still think you can get a character inspiration, a build concept, or even a new series to watch from this video. So let's start with today's character, Kiryu Sento. He's the amnesiac yet brilliant, if self-centered, protagonist from Kamen Rider Build, and probably the second smartest character in the series. Second only to the main bad guy. The series gets really intense, mostly because of the villain's multi-layered machinations, and Sento is the only guy who's almost smart enough to foil his plans. But the series really puts Sento through the ringer. He loses his memories, gets PTSD, and at one point even loses himself. But in spite of all this, he still pushes through and comes out on top. Or comes out of the other side of a new universe. Character drama aside, this is still a fighting series for kids. And Sento's main weapon to fight evil is the build driver. To Toei, this is merch, but to the fans, this is everything. With it, he can conjure a suit of power armor using 2 opposing forces called full bottles. It grants him the abilities of flight, claws, firearms, or cell phones.
This is a cell phone!
And that's what we're gonna try to build today. First, let's go with the official rules. Amnesiac or not, Kiryu Sento is definitely a human. Mostly. So let's take the human species. Sento was a studious inventor even before the amnesia, and he never really stopped. And when he had to take up arms, he used his intellect to build his way to survival. For background, let's take Artisan. Using point buy, his stats at level 1 look like this, with the background bonuses going to intelligence and dexterity. Now the human species adds another origin feat, and I'll get to that in a bit. But first, let's discuss the class and subclass. For class, Artificer is a sure fit. Wizard is a close second, but he works in both software and hardware. Plus, he's not above throwing hands. For subclass, the Armorer makes the most sense, given Sento's use of power armor. The core features of the subclass basically give that sense of transforming into a Kamen Rider, especially with the arcane armor letting you don or doff it as an action. Now, Sento as a Kamen Rider has a lot of forms. He uses a pair of trinkets called full bottles that each control 1/2 of his power armor. And with 30 bottles of each half, Sento has around 900 possible forms given the number of combinations. Obviously, that's very difficult to pull off with the Armorer. Even with the different armor models, it takes an entire short rest to change it. So how do we simulate his multiple forms? We do it with spells! The Armorer already has a good list of spells like Mirror Image, while the Artificer itself has access to stuff like Jump or Long Strider. So remember the human origin feat I mentioned a while ago? You can take Sento's character fantasy further by taking the Magic Initiate feat to get the Shield of Faith spell from the Cleric list. Take Keen Mind as your level 4 feat, and focus on maxing Intelligence and Constitution when you hit higher levels. I'll end the official rules here since my intention was to give you a starting point. If you're not too much into Homebrew, then I hope you leave a like and have a pleasant day, cause this is where we part ways. But if you're interested in taking Kiryu Sento's character fantasy beyond the official rules, well, are you comfy at the table? Let's take pop culture to pen and paper with today's Husbando Homebrew, the Synthesis Weaver. For today's Homebrew showcase, let's make a level 8 Artificer. We'll use the stats from the official rules section and take the tough feat instead of the magic initiate feat. The stats look like this, but a character sheet isn't complete without a backstory. So here's a setting agnostic pitch that might inspire you, regardless of whether you watch the source material. Kiryu Sento is a brilliant artisan who used his inventions to enrich people's lives. He was on his way to a bright future. Sento was at the top of his class in the academy. Various organizations also recognized his inventions, and he had a spot reserved at a very prestigious research institute. But his rise to prominence came to an abrupt halt at the arrival of the Outsider. As conflict and infighting raged on, Sento instead bided his time. Reluctantly, his brilliance that was once used to uplift people now needed to shift towards survival. He traced the Outsider's invasion path. While he couldn't stop the alien entity's arrival, he could at least understand it and harness its power. Using the properties of the alien's cosmic energy, he created a powerful synthesis furnace, one that could fuse the Outsider's energy to create armaments that can take down the invader. But that will have to wait. Sento knows that he needs allies to even get close to the Outsider. So far, he's found 2 who are willing to fight with him, and now he's on the path to finding a 3rd warrior who might stand at his side, if he could beat him in a duel first. But even that path is laden with opposition, as the Outsider's forces are fully intent on stopping his party even before he reaches the 3rd warrior. Welcome to the action cam! The Outsider's monsters have been thinned thanks to the help of his allies, but a few still stand in Sento's way. The Synthesis Weaver has 2 core features. The first one is the Synthesis Furnace, and fans of the show would recognize this as the build driver. This is a special device that you create during a long rest, and it serves as a kind of anchor to all other features of this subclass. The furnace is a pseudo-magic item that only you can use, and it grants the ability to conjure weapons and allows you to use your int stat for your attacks. The second core feature is the Synthesis Aegis. This lets you conjure the titular armor and gain various buffs. Using this is a 2-step process, and the first step is conjuring it as part of rolling initiative. You can also do so as a bonus action during your turn. The second step is choosing an artificial and vital compound that you know. Fans of the show would know these as Sento's full bottles. To avoid choice paralysis, especially for new players, I abridged them into 6 pairs that you learn as you level up. For this showcase, Sento will choose the Beast and War Machine compounds, seeing as the closest monster to him right now is a big bruiser type. First round and Sento takes initiative. The Beast and the War Machine compounds of his Aegis form a synthesis pair. This raises his abilities like speed, damage, and armor, and lets him get close to the Iron Bruiser with ease. Sento knows little about martial arts, but his Aegis lets him fight like he does. At level 5, he also gets to attack twice. The Bruiser goes down quickly after taking 2 powerful blows, but the fight is only beginning. In Sento's experience, the Flying One tends to unleash damaging spells, so he uses a bonus action and switches his Aegis to the Marvel and Mythical compounds. These are especially effective against spellcasters. The Flying One swoops in a little closer, but maintains distance in the air. With a flap of its wings, it casts the Shatter spell on Sento. The Synthesis Weaver passed that saving throw thanks to the Marvel Compounds bonus. This also increases his AC by 2 thanks to the Mythical Compounds effect, granting Sento a total AC of 21 thanks to the Synthesis pair effect as well. From the backlines comes a robotic creature with a machine gun for an arm, hailing down a rain of bullets in Sento's direction. Top of the round, Sento eyes the flyer that might be dangerous if left unattended. As a bonus action, he'll switch his Aegis compounds again to the Locomotion and Flora compounds. Both of these give him distance and reach. As part of the same bonus action, he'll also conjure a synthesis weapon in the form of a spear. Thanks to the Locomotion compound, Sento gains wings that let him fly up to the flying monster, letting him attack the flying target with ease. With 2 reaching spear strikes, the flying monster falls to the ground. While in the air, Sento is suddenly pelted by a barrage of bullets from the robotic gunner. Still in midair, Sento uses Compound Switch to go back to his War Machine and Beast compounds. But this time, he expends a level 1 spell slot and adds the Lustrous Catalyst, which adds even more powers to his Aegis, including 8 temporary hit points. And finally, as part of the same bonus action, he uses Sparkling Fold and teleports right next to the ranged monster and begins his unarmed assault. The robot is rocked by several shining strikes, with one attack amplified by the catalyst's sparkling energy. The gun-toting monster switches tactics and uses its clawed arm to swing twice at the lustrous synthesis weaver. Sento is in the zone and nimbly dodges the two heavy strikes. Top of the round, and Sento sees more monsters coming his way if he doesn't finish this quickly. As a bonus action, he uses Compound Maelstrom and charges his next strike. And with one final kick, Sento scraps the robotic monster in a sparkling explosion and quickly moves on to his true objective. Inside a fortified facility, the Warrior of Repentance waits patiently for his quarry. The future of this nation hangs in the balance as the two warriors clash in steel and ideals. If you enjoyed that showcase, then I hope I earned your like. And if you want more D&D homebrew, then I hope you consider subscribing. Anyway, the Synthesis Homebrew also has access to a powerful but risky Berserker form at level 5, which comes free with a light version of the document. The full version has more powerful catalysts, expanding the roster with fan-favorite forms straight from the show, like the full bottles or the Genius form. And you can purchase the document in the Ko-Fi link in the description. By the way, there's a sales goal. If the document reaches 30 sales, or if I gain 6 new Mallard Militia members by the end of June, I'll expand the current list of compounds/full bottles from 12 to the full 60. This is mostly just for mega fans of the show or for players who want a lot of variety. Speaking of members, the $5 plus tiers grant you free access to all our existing homebrew and a bunch of other perks. Perks like seeing your name among these magnificent mallards you see on screen right now. MC, please honor our royal guards and nobility.
Hello, it is I, the Mallard Queen, again, and I'm here to shout out the channel's honorable members. Yggdrasil88, Bryant LW, KV, Coinop 1989, Storm Starshine, Piku, and Cosplay Battle. And please all rise for our Mallard nobility, Hectic Planet 07. Thank you all so much for your support.
The subclass really took a long time to cook in the oven, so I hope you folks enjoy it. If you want to see how this character concept can work using magic items, check out the original Kamen Rider Build video right here. Till next time, my wife and I hope you have a great day ahead.